I think she was one in line that wanted
Sorry, that's something you shot? Oh, okay.
I'm just saying everyone get out, stay informed, don't let reform and half measures. These things are actually going to help people. Yesterday we actually rallied for Brian Kavanaugh's house. It was a really big rally. It was amazing. It brought a lot of people. A lot of people don't know that Brian Kavanaugh's bill actually is going to help the people who need help.
Hear that passion in his voice. That's the passion that we're seeing through a lot of these New Yorkers who are out here rallying clearly for that help.
Hold on, guys. Give me a second.
Alright, you guys?
Thank you so much. Is that going to be like available non-live?
Hello, hello. Let me know if you guys could hear me. We're here in Brooklyn, New York, at Livingston Street. This is the New York City Civil Court of Kings County. I'll show you right here. All right, we have a few people gathering here. A large police presence in front of the entrance to the courts here.
Where the footage goes after it's live? It doesn't. Thank you so much. Yeah. I can't remember. No, but I know that.
So no one's allowed to stand near the building here. Police have it completely occupied and at every entrance. They just asked the lawyers over here from the Lawyers Guild to step aside from away from the building for whatever reason. There's some signs here. So the evictions were halted. They were stopped for a few months. But now, beginning today, March 1st, the courts will begin the process to move the evictions forward, unless there is another delay. Please smash the like button. Share the stream. Let me take a step back here and I'll show you the amount of police presence we have here. Some more police on this side over here, and the just surrounding the whole area. There have been other actions here before. I'm not sure exactly what went down, but I know they've had previous rallies and protests here regarding the eviction.
Keep everybody safe.
The first thing I want to say is no one here is looking to get arrested today. No one here is looking to. This is not supposed to be a high risk act.
Okay.
So please, if we escalate there, please. I'm right over here. My name is Xander. I actually work in this building. Let me know.
Okay, you work here.
Well, like you said, we're here to support you, and this way everyone is safe. So whatever you need from us, let us know.
Speak to anyone who is here.
Okay.
All
All right.
Yeah, so
We're here to work together.
Are you looking to march?
we're gonna hold street. Yeah, we're probably gonna move a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not gonna let you know where we're going, but when we are going, I'll let you know where we're going, and I'll be at the back when I'm right here.
No, that's
All
fine.
right, and we're right here.
Okay.
All right.
What's your name?
I'm Sergeant Kitchen Kador.
Captain Runner.
I'm Xander Roos.
What's your name again?
I'm Xander Roos.
Thank you. Did they cancel it? No.
Yes, I am.
Hey, good. How are you? Hi, I'm Esther. Good.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Does anybody know why there's so much police presence?
They have nothing better to do. Yeah.
Maybe there's going to be some kind of an action that.
Yeah, I can't believe how many.
Yeah, right. There's 10 times more cops than there is people.
Yeah.
Alarm they left a year ago. There's just
Right.
I'm not here.
I know there's been previous rallies and demonstrations.
I hope so.
Has anything happened in the past like this?
Just arresting innocent people on the street. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
The
you.
last time, actually, Tracy was arrested when they tried to go into one of the law firms over there, who was, helping the landlords to evict people. And they didn't even get inside the law firm. They just arrested people en masse. How many people were arrested? Like 30 people?
Yeah.
And all they were doing in the building, they just walked in the building and then, and then they
Which you're allowed-
and they didn't let them out. And they had not done anything, and
So
the cops just put them all in vans, and they didn't get out till late that night.
Wow.
Yeah. And nothing had happened, It was just total repression.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the eviction process? Now it's March.
I'm not one of the people.
No?
Wait to see someone. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to have you talk to someone?
Yeah, if you
let
could.
me see your phone.
That'd be cool.
What's up?
Further down that way too.
Like by Nebula?
I think everybody's pretty much.
Yeah. That's all right. I'll wait around. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like they're going to be starting soon. Guess they have a few speakers. They may move around a bit. So we'll see.
Already way behind on all their work. So millions of tenants, or on the flip side, when you do that, you're dealing with thousands. And you are giving people relief for that. Just like based on what individual tenants need, and small landlords with small units, they may not get anything. Because those people are not within the same and yet, corporate landlords have to have tenants is going to get off. It doesn't make any sense to argue that landlords are being left out in this situation. It's not true. Like, we're actually accounting for that. It's the state and the federal government, the small landlords or the homeowners. No, yeah, of course. No, you can't afford that.
Hang in there, guys. This will be starting up soon. In the meantime, please hit the like button and share the stream. All right, yesterday we had an issue with I was covering the anti-Amazon union busting, or the solidarity with the Alabama workers for Amazon voting to unionize, and YouTube was suppressing the stream.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Are you here for the rally?
Yeah, we just came from. Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
right,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Guy looked familiar. I thought I knew him.
How the state deals with people who like to do
I mean, to me, it makes sense for the city to reappropriate all these fucking garbage condos that are and turn them into nitrogen complexes. Seriously, why the fuck not?
Well, first of all, so when you talk about public and private property, we're on public property.
This problem's going on for literally decades, probably since it started. Since they fucking first built the projects in the 40s or the 50s or whenever it was. Yeah. So you got to get people out of those buildings, number one. And number two, the other people who are on house on the street, fucking get these fucking things. These fucking gigantic things.
That means that, you know, a landlord that's coming to file a doesn't file
No, honestly, like, with my like, I'm trying so hard to
It's fucking ridiculous.
storming the building, no, like that's like we've occupied the office. Like that's never been the point here. Like the point being, you want to get it. We have done that before. Like we've done like civil disobedience. Long, you know, sitting down peacefully, going down, getting arrested. Something like that, you plan it in advance.
sort of like, you don't want and I get arrested today and they still fit everything.
Right, that's always the problem with like the morning actions in the pandemic. We have time to actually speak out. Right. When things go south, it's like, oh, fuck. I wasn't planning on that.
Yeah. Or even things like don't like because my thought is like I'm either gonna get arrested or like
Oh, hi.
Yeah, maybe I can send you like the info
No, mind if I ask you a question? Can you tell? You've been here to other previous rallies and demonstrations.
With the Crown Heights Tennis Union.
Have you ever seen this many police?
Never, not even a fraction of this.
Why do you think that they have this many cops out there today?
Maybe it's the landlords organizing some fight back of a nature. I'm not sure right yet.
Can you tell
But we're strong. We're strong. Today, people are at work and so on. But we have a housing movement, citywide, nationwide. It's only getting bigger.
crashing down. Now, what's happening? Why is March 1st significant? Is there a process?
People could start being evicted today. People who had earlier notices and conflicts over their rent. People who may not have filled out the form to protect them because of the pandemic conditions. And so many landlords are just harassing folks all the time anyway to try to get them out. And repairs are not made. Apartments are overpriced. There's racist landlords and so on. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey.
That was really nice. And if I was working anywhere besides Philly, and it was I already done it.
Mind if I ask you a question?
I'm not going to answer anything.
No? No?
That was because the name went to anyone else. So what would have been her? Like she would have been they would have counted for her Para mí esto bueno, para ellos no pueden ser ellos no te dan esto, no le van a dar la ayuda que el gobierno tenemos que hacer algo y el Estado puede hacer toda la renta para todos los
So Jay, how did you find out?
I should have brought up the stopping force. Just to get a justification to come up like that. You know what's the crazy thing? If I was in IG. And all her posts and pictures are unbecoming of her. I was like, okay. This is what happens when people demand stopping
I'm sorry, I overheard. Is that the reason that they told you why there's so many police here?
Yeah, that's what somebody told me. They said that they wanted that we would have to riot. I was like, you've been here yeah, we've been here. I mean, I've lost track of how many times we were here last year. Out of necessity, not because we wanted to be, but and we've never been violent. We never rioted. So, coming out here this morning and seeing, police at every intersection. This is actually might be the first time it looks like they may actually outnumber actual protesters. And yeah, it's just uncalled for. It's, we don't have a history of violence. They do. They're the ones who have a history of violence. And so for them to show up with this many police, it's just...
So you said they got a call? Was it an anonymous call?
Yeah, that's what one of my comrades just said, that they had got a report that we were going to riot. And so that's why they showed up in force. And again, we don't have a history of rioting, so yeah, it's just insane.
Looks like they're starting. Thank you for explaining that. All right, so it looks like they're starting here. As you can see, police lined up all along the building.
All evictions gotta stop. No landlords, no cops. 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 All evictions gotta stop, 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 no landlords, no cops.
So the sign says, cause of death, eviction. These are supposed to be body bags. Being that we're in a pandemic and, all the other issues, food crisis, Millions of families online waiting for food just to feed their family. There's no work. People are millions are unemployed. So in that case, evictions will ultimately live.
All evictions gotta stop. No landlords, no cops. 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 All evictions gotta stop. All evictions gotta stop. No landlords, no cops. All evictions gotta stop. All evictions gotta stop. All evictions gotta stop. All evictions gotta stop. Welcome. Thank you for coming out today. Just want to let everybody know right now why we're here. We're here today because it's March 1st, and we know that the eviction protections for some of our New Yorkers are coming to an end. And evictions are going to start. And we know right now how dangerous evictions are in the middle of a pandemic. We also want to make sure that Senator Kavanaugh knows that his most recent bill is absolutely inadequate and is another means-tested version of absolute garbage. We all know that his bill last summer, less than 40 million people qualified, $40 million of it, of the $100 million was used. And we also know that people were not covered. People who have no pay stub, people who are undocumented, some of our most vulnerable neighbors were not protected. I say it's about time they start applying for some relief instead of asking us to constantly apply for relief. We're no longer here for half measures. We're no longer here for this means-tested garbage. We also want to make sure that we are here to hold a peaceful speak out. This is a green action. This is a green action. We have police liaisons here. Please, if you feel at all threatened, please do not engage. We have police liaisons. Who are our police liaisons? We have Sarah here in the pink. If anyone has any questions or if any officers will have any questions, you can talk to Sarah. You can also talk to our friend Xavier. There is another police liaison that we have here today, keeping everyone in us safe. Who else? So we have another police liaison. Alright? Also, today, we will be marching to different locations. Even at these locations, this is a green action. We are not occupying. We are not occupying anywhere. Understood? Yup. Now, I know that we have a couple of people here that are ready to speak out and say some stories about what they are going through in this time. I think it's only right that we have some of our comrades out here say some stories and really put a face on the problem that is constantly happening. 12 months? $1,800? Really?
500,000 dead.
500,000 dead. That ain't right. Are you here to protect the people? Are you here to serve and protect us? If not, what are you here to protect? I'm just asking a question. I don't want to make assumptions now. Private property. Who are you here to protect if not us? So first, who do we have as our first speaker today?
Xander and Liz.
Xander is the legal eagles. Yeah. So we'll have some legal reps speak first. Legal eagles. Xander, some rules right now for today as we get started. Everybody, let's give a hand for Xander. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Was it? Okay. Good morning. How is everyone? My name is Xander. I organize the Brooklyn Eviction Defense. I organize with the Status Union. And I'm also a member of AAA, which means I work in this building. So the first thing I want to do is I want to mention that we have a lot of marshals here. How about that? Is that better? Yeah! Sorry, double mask. All right, so we have a bunch of marshals here keeping everyone safe. If you're a marshal, can you raise your hand? Let everyone know. All right, these are the folks that are going to keep us safe here. Great, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to provide a little bit of an update about what's happening here behind us in 141 Livingston. Today is the first day that the automatic freeze is ending. Which means that if you haven't gotten in your hardship declaration, your case could go forward today. Now, it wouldn't go forward today, but we need those declarations to come in, either if you have a case, or if you just don't want to be sued by your landlord. Because once you give that to your landlord, you can't be sued until May 5th. So if you're a tenant and if you're being sued, please get that declaration in. Come find me if you want to talk to me later about what that means. So what we expect, what we've been told, is that pre-pandemic cases where a declaration hasn't been put in are going to move forward starting this week.
That ain't right!
What we also have been told is that post-pandemic cases will start moving in April. So these are people that were sued after the coronavirus. So please get your declarations in, because what the court has made very clear is that their job is to move cases and to clear their calendars. That is their priority. So we need to make sure that we're out here today because we know there should be one priority in the state of New York when it comes to housing, and that is making sure that every single New Yorker is housed safely and no evictions take place in this city or in this state. And what we also know is that after May 1st, there won't be any more protections. The whole moratorium, not really a moratorium, but you know what, it was pretty decent. It goes poof, on May 1st, we're back to normal. And everyone's still gonna owe all this rent, right?
Right.
And what is the only thing that we can do to fix that, to make sure people stay in their homes?
Cancel the rent!
We have to cancel the rent. And it can't be rent relief. It can't be tenant makes an application, maybe they qualify, maybe they get some money. It needs to be universal cancellation where the burden is on the landlord and not on the tenant. So I thank you all for coming out today. If anyone wants to talk about their situation and their declaration, I'll be over there. I'm the police liaison. Come find me. I'm wearing this little thing, and we'll talk about it. Peace and love to y'all. Thank you, Sanders. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 Next up, we have our next speaker, Micah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry. My name is Micah. I'm from Courthouse Service Industry Workers. How's everybody doing tonight? Today? Oh my God. Service Industry Workers, that sounds like nighttime. Hey, it's really nice to see everybody here. The moratorium on evictions is a Black Lives Matter issue. It is a Brown Lives Matter issue. Is it an Asian Lives Matter issue? It is a working class issue. All right? This is something that covers everything. Over 25% of New Yorkers have not paid rent since the beginning of the pandemic. That is over 1 million New Yorkers that will be evicted should they decide to move forward on evictions. That's your family members, that's your friends, that's your comrades. That's some of these idiots too, probably. You guys are next. Y'all are gonna get evicted when you lose your jobs. So I think that it's important not only to mention that we need to be out in the streets every single day demanding these actual, like, fundamental working class changes. We cannot ask for a freeze on rent. It has to be canceled. This is a pandemic. We can afford it. You can start by defunding the police. That they are squandering with their laziness and their inability to treat the working class with any shred of dignity. We can start there, and we can start big there. So I want at least $3 billion. I want at least $3 billion. But that can easily pay to cancel the rent so that working class people will not be homeless because of the pandemic that we were set up to fail during. Okay? So I just want to say that I'm just a bartender from Crown Heights. Crown Heights Service Industry Workers was founded over Breonna Taylor's death and beyond and before for workers' rights. You can do it too if a bunch of drunken bartenders and service industry workers from Brooklyn can organize marches and come and make speeches and come to help shut down the housing court. Anybody can do it. You can organize in your tenant, your house. You can organize in your place of work. You can organize at your bodega, anywhere. So please keep the fight up. We have a war to win, all right? Thank you. Housing is a human right, not just for the rich and white. Housing is a human right, not just for the rich and white. Housing is a human right, not just for the rich and white. Housing is a human right, not just for the rich and white. All right, everybody. Next, we have Vincia speaking. Are they here?
Vincia.
Yeah, Vincia here.
Hooray!
Oh, hi! Welcome. Everybody give Vincia a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming and definitely supporting cancel rent. I've been on strike for, I think it was April 1st. My landlord, Jason Khan, is New York City worst regular. Second time in the row. And the moratorium doesn't do nothing. I went to court on the 17th of February, right here, housing court, virtual.
That ain't right.
Trying to evict me with leaks, rats, size of the pot, no heat in the winter. It's basically garbage. What we're saying now to housing court, stop taking people trying to evict us. Where are you going to put us? We have no job, nothing. At the end of the day, this has to stop. If it's not this pandemic, we call it on Governor Cuomo and all the leaders in New York State. Tax the rich. Cancel rent. Tax the rich. Not us. We don't have a job. At the end of the day, this moratorium to May 1st means nothing. Absolutely nothing to tenants. It's not a protection. It does absolutely nothing for us. I was in court, and all they want is to give me patchwork. For 20 years, there's never been a repair done in my building. It's unbelievable that the rent is $2,200, and he's not doing absolutely nothing. Why is housing court? Why is housing court not asking Jason Khan to prove? He deserves the rent. Why do I have to prove that I lost income to pay my rent?
That's right.
I am a citizen to this country, and I deserve everything as everybody else. It is absolutely unacceptable in this pandemic, and if not, we need to absolutely fight for cancel rent now.
Right, Vincia.
Thank you, Vincia. Thank you.
say cancel, you say red. Cancel. Cancel. When I say cancel, you say red. Cancel. Cancel. When I say cancel, you say red. Cancel. Cancel. When I say turn it, you say power. Turn it. Turn it. When I say turn it, you say power. Turn it. Turn it. Everybody, I want to welcome Esteban. Esteban has some few words for guys.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, look, we're out in front of Housing Court again. Yes. This is thanks to your state legislators today, actually. I think I once came out here and thanked them for a moratorium that didn't last as long as we thought it was going to, and I was wrong. They're full of shit, and we need to tell them so. All right? So, to our state legislators, stop it with the bullshit rent relief program. It's not going to work. It didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time. It's been 12 months. The first coronavirus case in New York City was reported a year ago today. 12 months of rent today. How many of you have received rent relief from the state government? Literally nobody. That is the brilliance of Brian Kavanaugh, who's writing the new bill that's supposed to take care of tenants, as opposed to our brilliant bill, which actually cancels the rent. So, we're gonna have to keep doing this shit, obviously. I mean, that's obviously the only way out of this, and I think that we've gotten to the point where, you know, cases are starting again today. The judges are ready to go. The police are ready to go. The marshals are ready to go, and we're not. We're not ready to go, and so we're not gonna. All right? What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 I said if we don't get it, shut it down. Louder. What do we want? Cancel rent. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 I said if we don't get it, shut it down. Give us a big boo for our state legislators. Thank you, Esteban. Thank you, Esteban. That's right, we can't depend on our elected officials, can we? We can only depend on us because we keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? 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 We keep us safe. All right, everybody, I want to bring another speaker. Liz, this is another one of our comrades in this housing struggle, and she would like to share a few words. If y'all can give her a round of applause.
Hi, louder.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Liz, and I also work in this building. But I wanted to say a little bit, you know what, Lynn already covered all of the legal stuff. Okay, here? Okay, perfect. I wanted to say some other stuff. And, you know, the real problem is capitalism. And what we need is mass affordable housing for everyone. So in there, we need to expropriate the landlords, take over the mass empty hotels that are covering the city, and invest in mass public housing in this center of empire, center of capital, in the most wealthy country in the history of the world. But the problem with that is we can't do it under capitalism, because capitalism simply cannot provide for the needs of the people. That's right. That's right. Only a workers' government can. Yes. So we also can't rely, sorry, the wet The rain is making my face feel very strange. We can't trust the Democrats, honestly, because the Democrats are the second head of the capitalist hierarchy. And de Blasio, Cuomo, God, that slimy jerk, honestly. Watching him get undone has been truly life-giving these last few weeks. But Cuomo and de Blasio, they're owned by real estate in this city, and these two signs over here, only a workers' government can provide for decent, affordable housing, and Cuomo, de Blasio, Democrats owned by real estate. The only way to truly provide for the needs of humankind is to break with both heads of the capitalist party, Democrats and Republicans, and to throw a workers' government. Thank you so much, and honestly, if you have any other questions about filing the hardship declaration or legal needs, I know I talked about a lot of anti-capitalist stuff, but I'm also working this building, and you can find me or you can find Sandra if you need help with that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lord, we are the Status Coup. Say it loud and clear. We are helping for.
May I have your name, please?
Lord, we are the Status Coup. Say it loud and free. We are helping for our people. One, we are the Status Coup. Say it loud and clear. We are helping for our. Are you gonna put? Any stories that you're going through right now in this struggle, please, we welcome it. We welcome it. We know it's scared. We know.
We got Dexter and Deline for 22 Hawthorne.
Okay, we have Dexter and Deline. Please give a round of applause for Dexter and Deline.
Hey Dexter, you out there? Nice to see you. All right.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Doreen, and I'm here today to let you know what's going on at my building 22 Courthouse Street. They have a work stop order, but they're still doing the job. They're trying to get all the tenants out.
That ain't right!
It's a lot of pressure, 22 Courthouse. But repairs need to be done, which hasn't been done. They have a court order, and nothing is being done. All they're focusing on is the empty apartments they have, so they can fix it and, rent it out for more money. So that's why we started a case against them for the city to take over the building. Because the conditions are really, really dilapidated in that building. Really, yes. So I'm here today to support, cancel rent. Yes, I'm here in support of, everything.
Cancel rent!
Fortunately, because of them, we're still in our conference. Thank you, love.
When we fight, we win.
Yes, we do.
Solidarity.
When we fight, we win. Solidarity.
All right, thank you.
Back up. We want freedom. All these racist landlords, we don't need them.
would like to come and share some stories, share some thoughts about how this pandemic is affecting them. We know that people are scared, people are afraid to look and ask for help. This is what it looks like when we have community, though. This is what it looks like when we have people. This is what it looks like when we have love. This is what it looks like when we care, we have compassion. This is exactly what it looks like. You don't have to be afraid right now.
Right.
You don't have to be afraid by what's surrounding us. You don't have to be afraid by that. We'll protect you. We keep us safe. We know we keep us safe. I know every single time we pass another month, I don't got nothing to worry about because I got people.
Right.
I got people that come out every single time. Every single time that I need help. So please don't be afraid. Someone here will help you. Someone here will reach out. Someone here will look out for you. Who keeps us safe? 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 When I say cancel, you say what? Cancel! Cancel! When I say cancel, you say what? Cancel! Cancel! When I say cancel, you say what? Cancel! Cancel! When I say can it, you say power. Can it! Can it! When I say can it, you say power. Can it! Can it! When I say cancel, you say what? Cancel! Cancel! When I say cancel, you say what? Cancel! Cancel! When I say can it, you say power. Can it! Can it! When I say can it, you say power. Can it! Can it! I'm going to hold some more space and give some more time for anybody that still wants to kind of speak out right now on their story or their struggle, what they're going through. Give it a little bit more time before we start organizing and have our banners out front, before we make our first stop on our march. Again, everybody, we have marshals, we have police liaisons. If you feel like you're being threatened at all, please, please. We have Xander here, we have Sarah here. Raise their hands. You see Sarah right over here. You see Xander right over there. Xander spoke. I'm sure you all recognize him definitely. So if you're running into any issues, please, please seek out these individuals. They will help you, okay? Because remember, we all got to keep ourselves safe. And like I said, I'll give a little bit more time for some folks that want to come and share the floor with us. Oh, we have another police liaison in Holden.
Holden, raise your
Holden, raise your hand.
All right.
There's Holden over there. So as you see, we have three.
I'd like to speak too if I could.
You like to speak? Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody, let's give a round of applause for Gordon. Gordon would like to share some words with us.
Gordon Lee from East Flatbush, which you can also call me Gray. Now, as we've been talking about, they have to cancel rent because we're not able to pay it. And we can't pay all that back rent and we never paid all those months. So what we also have to convey to them is that it's their fault we can't pay because they told us to stay home from work so that we can't make money to pay the rent. Yeah, it's, it was protocol and they're penalizing, us on protocol. They told us to stay home from work because of COVID if we're non-essential workers, but they're still saying we still have to pay the rent and we can still get evicted and vacated if we don't pay it. And he's making demands on, not only he's making demands on us that we can't meet, he's making unfair rules, and
penalizing us unfairly for breaking that unfair rule. And now the city and the state, de Blasio, Cuomo, they told us to stay home from work so we can't make money to pay the rent. And they're mad at us. They want to have us evicted. And they say we still have to pay rent. Not only that, the landlords are also mad at us. Mad at us for something that they know is the city and the state's doing or demand. There was a report of a landlord kidnapped and abducted 2 tenants, tied them up, and left them for dead in a cemetery when it was near 0 degrees. And my outrage that I have, like everyone else, and not knowing what to do with it. And then I don't really have words for it. Landlords now, they want to slaughter us for what they know is someone else is doing. And, I don't love people like that. I don't feel love for people like that. I also don't love authority figures like Cuomo, de Blasio. They hate us for obeying their demands, and then they make demands on us that they cannot meet, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Right. Anyway, my point is, they have to cancel rent because it's their fault we can't pay. That also we have to convey to them. It's their fault we cannot pay. We didn't want to obey, the COVID-related protocol. They wanted us to. We didn't want to obey because it means staying home. We can't make money to pay rent, and we put at risk of getting homeless. That's why some people don't obey the COVID-related, the social distancing stay-at-home order, because it means they can't go to work, they can't make money to pay rent, and they can still get kicked out and be vacated, and they can still be homeless. Anyway, again, we also have to convey to them that it's their fault that we can't pay, so they have to cancel rent.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Next up, we have one more speaker. The speaker's name is Vanessa. Everybody, let's give a round of applause for Vanessa.
Hi everyone. Hello? Up here. I'm kind of shy, but I just got a message I wanted to share with you from a woman who I've been trying to help. She had to leave her home because of an abusive relationship that she was in, and she just sent me a message like 2 minutes ago saying that she's in a hotel, she's trying to collect money to pay so that she can stay with her daughters, and it just made me think like there's so many people right now who just have no options and they're just completely terrified. She has no work, she has kids, she's trying to flee an abusive relationship. So I just wanted to share her story. If anyone has funds they can donate. She's trying to stay in this hotel. Obviously we can't fix this just through Venmoing her $20 every day. Like, we need more. So this is why we need to cancel rent. This is why we need to stop evictions. So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. What do we want? Cancel rent! What do we want it? Now! What do we want? Cancel rent! What do we want it? Now! What do we want? Cancel rent! What do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! 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 I said if we don't get it, shut it down! Thank you for speakers for coming up here and sharing your stories, sharing your thoughts about where we are at in the situation.
situation. Right now, we're going to get ready to march to our first location that we're going to today. We're going to start. So we're just going to start going this direction towards where the parking lot is, and the parking garage. Banners up front. We have our police marshals again and our other marshals to keep us safe. Because remember, we keep us safe, folks. We keep us safe. And if everybody wants to start organizing in this direction, we're getting ready to start going, and we're going to head towards Broome.
So,
are you going to record me?
I'm live right now.
Oh, actually, I'm going to decline that. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Do you want to do it? We can do it off camera. I'll just walk with you.
Sorry, I'm just a little,
Okay, all right. You don't have to give your name or anything. I'll keep you off camera. And if you could just tell me a little bit about what you said about the Democrats being owned by the real estate.
Sure, yeah, in New York City, the Democrats are completely owned by real estate, particularly, actually, both de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo are entirely in bed with the real estate lobby. The public, a few years ago, de Blasio had a program to invest in public housing, and I'm using quotes, public housing, but it's been almost entirely offloaded, and he's been working pretty hard to try to privatize NYCHA as well, which is a complete travesty. It's disgusting. So they brand themselves as the better option when in many cases they're the worst option, not in any way to defend the Republicans, but because the Democrats sell themselves as the saviors of the working class and the oppressed, when really it's a snake oil swindle, and they sell them out at every opportunity. Cuomo has continued to bail out the real estate industry during this entire pandemic. He's made sweetheart deals with landlords, and all of the rent relief has been means tested, and of the tiny available money that was set to be given to renters, they gave away 16% of it.
16?
I might be missing that a little bit.
To who?
To the people. No, I'm sorry, to the renters. To the people that applied, there was $100 million available, and they gave away. And I apologize if I'm misquoting this. Please check it. But it was something like 16% of people that applied received money. And so now, to quote, solve the problem, they're making it available again, which is obviously no solution.
Right. And tell me a little bit about the, you said about the empty hotels.
Sure. So there are empty hotels all over the city.
Right, yeah.
That people could live in. And instead, they let people live on the streets or in crowded communal shelters. So New York City has a, quote, right to shelter, which means that in theory, everyone should qualify for a bed in a shelter. But in practice, people can be turned away for having addiction, substance abuse problems, having children, being part of a couple. It goes on and on. During the peak of the COVID pandemic, people were sleeping on floors all the way out of hallways. So, right to shelter means very little if you're laying body to body on the floor during a pandemic while hotel rooms sit empty.
Putting people at risk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That was great information. Thank you. All right, so we're marching through downtown Brooklyn here. Let me run up to the front of the march. Not sure if that's a solidarity honk or if that's a get out of my way honk. Of course, we have NYPD marching alongside. Tons of cops.
People want to know who we are. Know each other. Fighting for justice.
Right now, that's going to share some words and our thoughts as we're standing in front of this fantastic building. I would like everybody like to introduce you to our fellow comrade Nico. I don't. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everyone here. When I say cancel, you say wreck. Cancel. Wreck. Cancel. Wreck. All right. So, Brian Kavanaugh, piece of shit. We all know that, right? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah. Fuck Brian Kavanaugh. Fuck Brian Kavanaugh. Awesome. Okay, so what this bill basically does is say if you're an undocumented worker, if you're a Dominican nanny who's taking care of white Park Slope kids for shitty wages under the table, if you're a sex worker, if you're a gig worker who doesn't have a pay stub, you're unqualified right away. Is that right? Yeah. Is that fucking right? Yeah. Those are the people who need relief the most. Right. If this is a rent relief bill, then how can you do that? Is that right? Right. So what we're here to demand, we're here going to put a note on Brian Kavanaugh's desk and say, hey, motherfucker, if you actually want to do what you say you want to do, then universally cancel the rent. Right? Yeah. There's no other way around it. And honestly, there's no way Brian Kavanaugh's going to do that because he doesn't give a fuck about us. No politician gives a fuck about us. The only people that are going to keep us safe is us. We keep us safe. 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 All right, and that's what we're here to show these politicians that we can expose them, we can take them out of power, and the power resides in the people. Thank you. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Nico. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, everybody, our next speaker is going to be Esteban from Town Heights, Tennessee. He's going to share some thoughts and some words. Everybody, let's give him a round of applause.
Okay, so look at this outsized crowd of NYPD officers we have trailing us today.
Status Coup on YouTube.
Seriously, you know, the amount of money that has been spent over the past 12 months trailing and arresting peaceful protesters, tenants, women in their 60s and 70s, tenants who have no other choice but to come out here and exercise their constitutional right in Brian Kavanaugh's district, no less. And yeah, that's a lot of money that's been spent. That could have gone towards, you know, canceling rent for everyone else. So priorities, though, right? So we thought we'd come over here and try to. We have constituents of Brian Kavanaugh that are ready to deliver a letter to him in his office. However, it seems that we are being blocked from entering a public building for whatever reason, because we're obviously so terrifying. We're obviously so terrifying. So I think we're going to end up having to be like Martin Luther and putting the thesis on the door. Maybe he'll get the message that way. If you're a reporter and you're here, we invite you to take note of what's going on here. Take note of the fact that we do try to come to our elected officials and bring the conversation to them. They don't want to hear it, though. They're not here to hear it. So, this is the bill. This is the cancel rent bill. The real one. The real one. Introduced by State Senator Julian Salazar and Assemblymember Yulian New, based on the demands of the Housing Justice for All and Right to Counsel and every other tenant coalition that exists in New York. This is what we want, all right? We want rent cancellation for all tenants. We want mortgage relief for homeowners. We want relief for small landlords. We do not want relief for Blackstone. We do not want relief for Pinnacle. We do not want relief for Ecolius. And we do not want relief for the banks. The working people of New York, that's who we want relief for. And that's what this does. This will take the money that Brian Kavanaugh is trying to squander on a shitty bill and put that money in a pool that will be a hardship fund for landlords. There are thousands of landlords in New York. There are millions of tenants. Tell me what makes the most sense. Yeah, landlord hardship fund, right? It seems really simple, especially since the last time they made a bill, it fell apart entirely and they weren't able to administer it. Who knows about DHCR? Who's familiar with DHCR? Or has ever had to tangle with them? DHCR is the state agency. They're about 2 years behind on rent overcharge cases. And the state legislature decided that they were going to task them with giving us relief. It did not go well. It did not go well. And so we're telling Brian Kavanaugh and you know, all of our senators that right now are either being really quiet all of a sudden, our assembly members that are being really quiet. They're being real loud about Cuomo, but they don't seem to be talking about rent. Yeah, right? So we're telling them what we want. They know what we want, but we're reminding them. Now, as Comrade Nico said, the state's not here for us. We know that. We know that this is an uphill battle that we will constantly be fighting, but we also know that we can take their jobs. We can take their jobs. I mean, it might be petty, but we're going to do it. So pay attention to us, keep your job, pass our legislation, and for the love of God, don't shut us out of our buildings that we fucking pay for.
Thank you, Esteban. So, like you said, at this point, we're just here to deliver our demands to Senator Kavanaugh. There's going to be a situation, as we can see, that our occupying force is restricting that access as of right now. So we're going to have to just leave it on the door, kind of how like they leave eviction notices. So, our comrade Deha, who lives in Brian Kavanaugh's district,
Yeah, unless he's willing to speak with us.
Put it on the door behind us.
Okay. Okay, great.
Everybody else stand up.
People's lives are on the line. What are you doing? Housing is a human right. Where's your consciousness? Where's your morality? Support this bill and cancel the rent. When you're full of rage, sometimes you just don't even know what to say. Right! Thank you, Deon. Thank you. All right, again, we got some other spots that we need to make, or stops we need to make on our trip. Further to the front, we're going to head down Fulton to our next spot. Again, if you're experiencing security issues,
Excuse me, can you tell me a little bit more about the bill?
Sure, absolutely.
Cool. I'm live right now, so
okay, sure.
Go ahead, just whenever you're ready.
Which building is this from? So this bill is the, I think it's labeled the something like housing relief for all. It was originally called the cancel rent bill, but it is a bill that just fully cancels the rent for all tenants in New York State. It also provides a small landlord and nonprofit landlord and basically like a hardship fund for landlords, where they will pool the money that the federal government sends, which is I think $1.3 billion, and then whatever money we can raise in revenue over the course of the coming months, hopefully by taxing the rich, all of that would be put in a pool of money. And instead of asking tenants to to be means tested as for the relief, landlords would have to do that. So instead of millions of tenants, it would be thousands of landlords, and that way we make sure that the landlords that actually need the money are getting the money. This is something that they've done with tenants for centuries. So, but it's unwieldy and basically impossible to cover everyone if you're doing means testing. Undocumented folks are going to be left out. People who work in the gig economy, people who have been picking up jobs here and there to cover during the pandemic, they're going to be left out. This bill covers all of them, and make sure that we have and it ensures that we have the protections that we need for tenants who are in this situation by no fault of their own. So this is it's been our demand from the beginning, and we're going to keep pushing for it, even though we get these terrible bills that the same thing's going to happen. With the $1.3 billion that happened with the $100 million, which is it's not going to end up being dispersed. They've only put out, I haven't even spent half of the $100 million, and there's billions of dollars in rent debt right now because there's no way for people to access that money. So this is what we think is the best way to do it, and we think that at this point, with the failure of the other bill, it doesn't make sense for them not to listen to us now. They might as well try.
Can I get your name again?
Yeah, Esteban Jaron.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Esteban.
All right, you're welcome.
Take care.
All right, so we are marching to another location.
Thank you. Fucking killing it. Get a job? Girls 5. Girls 5. That's meant to be. Don't be a dickhead. It's real easy.
I'm sorry, Nico. Nico, can you tell me about the flyers that you're handing out?
Yeah, this is flyers for Brooklyn Eviction Defense. We're a network coalition of housing organizations, tenants associations, tenant unions, tenants of all across Brooklyn, just to stop evictions and help people kind of have some housing security during the pandemic and overall in general every day, every time.
Absolutely. Can I see one else? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything you want to shed light on that hasn't been spoken about?
I mean, I think everything's been covered. Just in general, evictions are violent at any time. Private property is only owned through exploitation, centuries of slavery and indigenous genocide. So, I think there needs to be a radical restructuring of things, and housing is a human right, and so people shouldn't have to worry about being evicted.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nico.
Not just for the rich and white.
There are definitely more police here than demonstrators. Smash the like button, share this stream. I'll be out here for a little bit longer, not sure where the next stop is. But yeah, get this message out. This is a fight not only for New York, but for the country. Just like at other protests and rallies, we've seen this year the bikes in the front and bikes in the back usually create a protection, not only from cars, but from let's say police or whoever is trying to interfere. But they usually block off the street there. Right now, this is Flatbush Avenue. They're crossing over.
You gotta cancel it. You gotta cancel it.
So I think this guy's singing. I think his name is Paperboy Prince. He's always seen in New York City.
Housing for all. Housing for all. Yeah.
We keep us safe.
I'm not sure what building this is, but there are, man, can't even tell you how many cops. Definitely more than 2 dozen cops here.
All evictions gotta stop, no landlords, no cops. 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 All evictions gotta stop. This is our second stop on our march. Right now we're in the offices of when Hakeem Jeffries is, and we also have a message to deliver to him as well, and we also want him to actually get on board and stop going along with these mean testing and also his platitudes that he just famously is known for, and actually get on board with canceling mortgages, housing the homeless, and making sure all the most vulnerable New Yorkers are here, are safe and protected. And so right now, we're going to hear from Sarah, who's going to give us some thoughts about the situation that we have going on today. Everybody give a round of applause for Sarah.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to DHCR. This is the Department of Housing and Community Renewal. Bullshit. Which is bullshit. Thank you, thank you. So, you all have heard about the Kavanaugh bill, right? Yeah, you know it's no good, right? All right, so DHCR has been in the business of deregulating your housing. For years and years, they have been deregulating your housing and taking away your tenant protections. They have been approving overcharges for years. Your landlords have been submitting bullshit on your rent history. And this is all on the honor system. It's on the honor system. In a side where the landlords, do they have any honor? No. Is there any honor in being a landlord and overcharging tenants all citywide? No. Hell no. That's right. And now, DHCR was asked to administer the rent relief program. That sounds excellent, doesn't it? Who here got any money from the rent relief program? Anybody? No. Anybody? No. No. And if people got it, they got maybe a couple $100. Is that going to pay your rent? No. Hell no. All right. 90,000 people applied for that program. Maybe 15% of them got anything at all. No. And who designed that miraculous rent recovery program?
It was Brian.
Brian Kavanaugh. Brian Kavanaugh. And then Brian Kavanaugh comes back to you with another brilliance bill. A brilliance bill. Right? Do you trust that Brian Kavanaugh's bill is going to help you? No. Do you trust Brian Kavanaugh's judgment at all? No. Do you trust DHCR to make sure that you get the relief that you are entitled to? No. DHCR is also in charge of overcharge cases. How far backed up do you think they are?
3 years.
3 years. Can you wait 3 years for justice?
No.
Can you wait 3 years for your rent?
No.
Is your
It is the Salazar New Bill. That bill is going to cancel rent for all New Yorkers. For all New Yorkers. And it's not going to be the tenants who fill out the hardship declarations. It's not going to be the tenants who beg for money, who beg for justice. With the cancel rent bill, your landlords can fill out some paperwork. We have millions of tenants in New York City and New York State who are behind in rent. Millions. And you know, there are thousands of landlords. Now, DHCR, I understand your job is hard. Your job is hard. Would you prefer to go through thousands of landlords' paperwork or millions of tenants? The landlords. Make the landlords pay.
Make landlords pay.
Make the landlords pay. Make the landlords pay.
Make the landlords pay. Make the landlords pay.
That's right.
Make the landlords pay.
So what do we want?
Cancel rent.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Cancel rent.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Cancel rent.
And when do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
I'm sorry, if we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
I said if we don't get it?
Shut it down.
What do we want?
Cancel rent.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Cancel rent.
And when do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
If we don't get it?
Shut it down.
All right, God bless you all, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Everybody give Sarah a round of applause. Thank you. And just to briefly build off of what Sarah had mentioned about landlords filing for paperwork and it being in the thousands for landlords, but when it comes to tenants, it's in the millions. I just think it's kind of ironic that they are real quick to fill out some eviction paperwork.
Right.
They're real quick to fill out that paperwork. But the other paperwork, they can't. All of a sudden, they can't apply. But this is the things that we're talking about. These are the contradictions that we see every single day about how people that have the resources are saying that the people who desperately need it don't really need the relief. I find it comical that people that aren't even involved in this struggle are the ones that are the, what you would call, the masters of knowledge around the situation. That they're the masters of knowing what it is that we are going through. That they are masters of knowledge about our struggle. I just find it ironic that those are the people that are being listened to. It's just ironic.
They don't even fucking live here.
They don't even fucking live here. And it's with that in mind that I also want to bring another speaker to talk about Hakeem Jeffries, especially. Esteban. Is Esteban there? Actually, we're going to get our other comrade Joel to speak about it from Crown Heights Tennis Union.
How's it going? All right, so we're out here in the streets for the 12th month of the great rent strike of 2020. Now it's the great rent strike of 2020 to 2021. Raise your hand if you're on rent strike or if you can't pay rent. All right, raise your hand if you lost work in this pandemic. If you lost income in this pandemic. Raise your hand if you lost a family member or a friend to this pandemic. The scale of suffering in this country is immense, and it's the working class. It's people who work for a living, black and brown people, people of all kinds who work, who are suffering. Meanwhile, we have elected officials like Hakeem Jeffries, the second highest ranking member of the House, represents Crown Heights, parts of Crown Heights. We've never seen him before. He doesn't come around. He's in DC, eating steak, drinking wine, and chuckling at our misfortune. That ain't right. So Hakeem, we know that you have the power to cancel rent. We know that you have the power to push a $15 minimum wage. We know that you have the power to give us the relief that we need. And where the fuck are you, Hakeem? You're in D.C. eating steak. That's unacceptable. So I want to chant. Hakeem! Hakeem Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Jeffries, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. All right, so we have one more stop. This was a little foreshadowing. We're going to be visiting the stately townhouse of Chuck Schumer. Senate Majority Leader, also a renowned steak eater, I would imagine. So banners to the front, bikes to the front, and we're gonna march on Chuck's townhouse, where we're gonna end this march demanding the cancellation of rent for all people, the $50 minimum wage for all people, and relief, cash relief and work relief for all people. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. What do we want? Cancel rent. When do we want it?
So nice, Chloe, from
When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it.
All right, so I think we're getting close to Schumer's house. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions? Yeah, cool. So, what do you call it? Do you think the Biden administration is doing anything to help folks in this crisis?
No, and even if they do, it's going to be too little, too late. This is why we have to take action now.
Do you think a moratorium was enough?
No, definitely not, because a moratorium is not a cancellation of the rent. It's like a moratorium just merely puts a pause on people's ability to pay. But then when a moratorium is lifted, people owe tens of thousands of dollars in back rent.
Right, yeah, so that's why canceling is
Yes, absolutely. And it also helps people, it's like undocumented people in the state, because they're not receiving any kinds of benefits. So a full-on cancellation would help everybody regardless of their status.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts about Amazon and all these big corporations raking in money from the pandemic and not helping anybody out?
It is ridiculous. I mean, this pandemic, if anything, has revealed just the greed of the ruling class and of the death cult that is capitalism. Yeah, I mean, movements like this have to accumulate into a general strike. We are at the point of no return. If we don't get these kinds of policies put in, we are in for a smarter, more dangerous version of Trump yet to come.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Anybody else like this?
Yeah, a little bit. I asked him about the bill. I spoke to Nico briefly. Joel?
Yeah, okay. I'll go talk to him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Dave, right?
Yeah, Deha.
Deha. Thank you.
I'm getting hot. Hot? I can't breathe. Yeah. See who else I can talk to.
Joel, right? Yes. You mind if I talk to you a few minutes? So, just tell me, do you think the Biden administration is doing anything to help this crisis?
No, absolutely not. I mean, if you look at, they're sort of hiding behind the Senate parliamentarian and blocking the $15 minimum wage. It was clearly a command that came from on top. He was on record saying, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So, these bourgeois politicians, these Democratic Party politicians, these Republican Party politicians are not, not legislating in the interests of working people, the working class, and that's why we need to get organized and fight, march in the streets, strike on the job, strike at home, rent strike, general strike, to be able to overcome this system. What you're seeing today is a very small but potent demonstration of the working class's power, and I believe that we're going to win.
Absolutely. I hear, do you think a moratorium, I know throughout the year they've had how many moratoriums? What was that, two or three? But do you think that's enough?
Multiple moratoria. Every time it was about to expire, this crew of hard-fighting tenants would go in front of housing court and demand that it be extended. It was only by dint of our movement that there haven't been mass evictions, and there have been, of course. Upstate courts ignoring the law, backroom deals between judges and landlords upstate, and also, as you heard today, Vincia Barber here in Brooklyn, her landlord took advantage of a loophole in the current moratorium to try to evict her during the moratorium. So this is completely unacceptable, and I believe that we're going to have this problem, and we're going to have to keep fighting it back, which we will, until all the buildings are owned by all the people. So,
Can you tell me a little bit more about that bill that was left at Borough Hall back there?
sure. So that is the cancel rent bill, the true one. It was written by our movement, introduced by Julia Salazar and Assemblymember Mew, both of whom are Democrats, but a little bit more socialist inclined. So we wrote that bill. It universally cancels rent for all tenants in New York State. And then it lets some landlords apply for reimbursement, but they have to agree not to raise rents for 5 years, not to evict anyone for 5 years. And we feel like that's more than generous, that's more than fair. What we can't have is a means-tested program where people have to fill out a form to qualify, to beg to qualify, when this crisis has been deeper than the Great Depression in many ways. There was a point last summer where half the country was unemployed, 500,000 dead. If we can't have the basics, the necessities of life after this struggle, then we're just gonna have to escalate, because the world can't go on as it is now. And what we've seen through this pandemic is that the world cannot go on
with this system in place.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Take care.
And evictions up next year.
Sorry guys if it's a little shaky. It's a little difficult to hold the microphone, hold the camera while walking. I'm very tired. Not sure how far we are from Schumer's house, but we're approaching Grand Army Plaza. So we should be getting close because I know he's in this area. So this is the Park Slope area of Brooklyn.
Not just for the
Not just for the rich and white. Cancel rent! Now! Now!
There's the archway for Grand Army Plaza. So even more police here, as you can see. I will let me just show you here. The amount of police here is absolutely insane.
cops. All evictions gotta stop. No landlords, no cops. All evictions gotta stop. So folks, if we can get out of the street and more onto the sidewalk so people have ways.
We're gonna pick it. We're gonna pick it.
We're gonna pick it right outside front right here, but if we can get off the street and onto the sidewalk, all of you comrades, and just come over to where I'm standing on the sidewalk over here. Like again, we are in a green action. We are in a green action. We are here not out of hate. We are here out of love.
So we're gonna walk in a circle in front of the building. That's all. We're just gonna walk in a circle. What do we want?
Cancel rent.
What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want?
What do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't shut it down, then if we don't get it, shut it down. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want it? Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Cancel rent. Now. Cancel rent.
Now. What do we want? Cancel rent. What do we want? Now.
Shut it down. 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 Everywhere we go,
People wanna know.
people wanna know who we are. So tell them we are the movement.
Mighty tenant movement.
Mighty tenant movement. Fighting for justice.
Cancel rent.
Cancel rent.
Cancel rent.
Cancel rent. End eviction. End eviction. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So tell them we are the movement. Mighty tenant movement. Fighting for justice. Fighting for justice. And eviction.
Is that you, Scooter?
Fighting against the slumlord. Fighting against the slumlord. Cancel rent. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So we tell them we are the people. Mighty, mighty people.
Fighting for justice.
Fighting for justice. Cancel rent.
Cancel rent.
Cancel rent. Schumer, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Schumer, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side.
Schumer, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side. Schumer, you can't hide. We can see your sleazy side.
Hello, everyone, again.
Hi, Xander.
First of all, Roland, holding it down for 2 consecutive actions as the MC. Tirelessly. I ran out of breath. Roland did not run out of breath. So, all right, I want to tie today together. We started off at Housing Court to call for them to stop Housing Court, to stop evictions. We went to Brian Kavanaugh's office to tell him that the bill he's pushing is bullshit. He needs to cancel rent. Now, what that Kavanaugh bill does is it allocates $1.3 billion of federal funding, and it makes tenants beg for that money. And one, we know it's not enough money. And 2, we know the burden cannot be on the tenant because people will fall through the cracks, people will not qualify, people will not get it, people will be evicted. But some of the justification for that Brian Kavanaugh is putting forward, that certain politicians are putting forward, that maybe even certain lead attorneys at certain nonprofits I won't mention that may employ me are putting forward is that, well, there's so many restrictions on this federal money, we can't possibly, the tenants, they have to beg for it. Now that's a lot of uncreative thinking, but it is true that the feds also seem to believe that tenants should beg for their rent money during a pandemic. And we are not powerless here in the state of New York.
Yes, sir. Come on this way.
The most powerful man in the Senate, or at least so he wants to think, so he has dreamed of for years, lives right here. Is the person responsible for how much money we get from the federal government. We just went to 55 Hanson Place, where Hakeem Jeffries is headquartered, who is one of the most powerful Democrats in a Democratic-led House. So these are not simply people that don't answer to us. These are our elected officials. And right now, we need them to allocate money to tenants, and not money that is beans tested, not money that the tenant has to apply for, not money that they need to navigate a draconian system that frankly makes lawyers like me essential when we shouldn't be, when our job shouldn't exist.
That's right! Let's go! Come lawyers!
So we need our federal officials that are the most powerful officials in Washington that work for us to allocate real money to tenants to end this crisis.
Yeah.
And thank you all for coming out and making that point. Much love.
As we close, I just want to make it clear of an analysis as we can, because we see there's like hundreds of fucking cops here, hundreds of fucking vehicles that are being fucking powered by gas that costs money that the city pays for, and like, we're not doing shit that's threatening anyone. No cops need to be here right now. But where could that money go? Where could the money go that it takes to fund these fucking fuckers' salaries, it takes to fund these fucking guns, these fucking cars? It could go to people who are being affected in this fucking deadly pandemic. That's where it should go. Right? We need to understand that the housing crisis is also related to racial justice. The people who are being disproportionately evicted and affected by this pandemic are black and brown people who are disproportionately killed, fucking maimed, violently interacted with the state, and so these pigs are also a part of the housing problem, right? Housing justice is racial justice, is health justice. It all needs to be radically transformed, dismantled, and something else, socialism, needs to happen and take its place. That's what we are here for. We want to abolish private property, we want to abolish these fucking pigs, and we want to abolish all these fucking high-rises that are only given to people with the means to fucking live in them. So fuck Chuck Schumer, fuck the police. Thank you, everyone.
So y'all hear that, right? Even the megaphone feels the fire. Megaphone feels all that fire. And so again, thank you everybody for coming out today. Do we have any other speakers that want to speak on the rent crisis that we are in, the fact that we all need some level of relief? Even our workers need relief. We're just fighting, get this, for the minimum wage. The minimum wage. We can't even talk about the livable wage just yet. We can't even talk about that because we're too busy trying to get the minimum. This is such an example of what is constantly happening in this state, in this country. The people people that need the most help always get the minimum. Why is it that we get the minimum? Why is that? Are we not active participants in this society? Do we not work? Do we not help build this place and keep it going? Do we not swipe our cards to ride the metro system? Do we not do all the things that we have to do to take care and babysit your children, to take care of them, whether they have the education? We are always going above and beyond, and yet we receive the minimum. So when we talk about these systems, when we talk about a totally different overhaul, when we talk about revolution, this is what people like to say. They like reform because it's a comfortable word. Reform is real comfortable. But we know what reform is. We know what's that's different from revolution. Any kind of reform is things on their terms. They want to have it on their terms so that when we might get a chance to rise, we're just going to keep propagating the same damn system that they left behind. And we really think it's going to change. We really think that's actually going to make something different. This is the whole thing. If things stayed the same, that's great for them. When things change for us, it has to change for them. It has to be a revolution. Forget this reform. Reform ain't going to bring about the change that we're talking about and what's necessary. Because I keep getting tired of hearing these things called, these are extreme things that we're asking for. They're not extreme. They're necessary. And they're right on time. And it's about time we actually get the relief that we've been asking for 12 months. 12 months. How many times do we have to come out here and risk our safety to get some relief? And we can't even get the minimum. And so with that, do we have any other speakers? I know we have some people from Workers' Assembly Against Racism that want to speak out about workers' rights, union busting, and even the disgusting things that are happening to our workers, because that's what keeps this city going. That's right. The workers keep this city going. The workers have stayed here to keep this city going, while the affluent had left to go to their beach homes. They're second housing because they have the resources. The people that you see here right now, we don't have the resources. And so with that, I want to bring up a speaker to speak briefly about workers' rights that we have going on here in the city and also across this nation.
Hi. This is going to be very, very quick. As most of you already know, in Bessemer, Alabama, 5,800 workers, mostly black workers, 46% women, are organizing a union. There's been horrible union busting attacks by Amazon, and the law firm that represents Amazon, and they're being paid millions and millions of dollars, is a law firm called Morgan Lewis. And they have an office on Park Avenue at 40th Street. So on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, there's going to be an action in front of their office. So we're just letting you all know about, some of you I gave this flyer to, and we hope you could come. It's really important, because if there's a victory at Amazon in Alabama, it's going to lead to victories everywhere. Yes. And what we're doing by having actions across the country is real. What Biden did yesterday, come out and say basically that these workers have a right to organize a union, that came because all of us have been demonstrating across the country. It may not seem like much, but it's really, really important. So if you could come and turn out on Thursday, that would be great. Thanks.
Solidarity, that's what it's all about. Because we all know there's power with people. Anytime there's people, we have power. And don't ever let anybody else dissuade you. Don't let this intimidation that they have out here dissuade you from mobilizing, organizing, and strategizing. Because that's what we need right now. The election, voting is the end of a process. Voting is the end of a process, not the beginning. The beginning is right now, and the journey starts right now. Thank you, everybody that has been out here sharing their stories. Do we have anybody else that wants to share some words at the speak out that we're currently having? Anybody that have any stories that they want to uplift right now?
I just want to say something I noticed. I don't need the megaphone, but they have the resources to house everybody on the street. It's not about resources. They have the money to pay all these people, all these fuckers, their salaries. It's not about resources. It's about maintaining homelessness as a threat to get us to work for nothing. And they could end this today. They don't want to end it. It's not a question of where the money goes. It's like maintaining this structure is what they're here for.
Yeah! Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. They got the resources. They're just choosing not to use them. All we've been out here for is to show that there's a face to this issue. There's a face to the people that are crying out for help. There's a face to these people that are in these dangerous conditions that they did not themselves cause. Something else caused this. And we put you folks in power, so when stuff like this goes down, you start doing your jobs. Because you know what? We can just find somebody else. We can just find other people.
Or we can just replace the system.
That sounds great. Does anybody else have any other words they'd like to uplift right now? Anybody that wants to speak about any stories or anything that they've come across that is really
Workers of the world unite. 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 Workers of the world
All right, guys, I'm going to cut the stream. Just show you the police presence here. All right, this is it for today. I'm sure there will be things happening this week, so stay tuned. And if you're not a member, become a member. You'll get text messages and notifications when we do go live, or for any upcoming events. All right, take care. See you soon.